Welcome to Microsoft Excel 2010. This is a brief PowerPoint presentation to introduce you to some of the key elements of Excel. I assume that you have already installed the application on your computer. If so, you can start Microsoft Excel 2010 by clicking the desktop shortcut. It looks like the icon in the bottom right corner of this slide. If you did not install the desktop shortcut as part of the application installation process, you can find a shortcut by clicking on the Start button and typing Microsoft Excel 2010 in the search box. Then hit the Enter key. Click on the link displayed in the search results to open the application. Now that you've opened the application, let's take a look at the working environment of Microsoft Excel 2010. It's comprised of several components that you will need to be familiar with as you will see these terms moving forward in the course. The first element we'll take a look at is the ribbon. The ribbon runs across the top of the screen. It has ribbon tabs across the top that say File, Home, Insert, etc. There are also ribbon groups along the bottom. They say things like Clipboard, Font, Alignment, and so on. The ribbon also contains many drop-down lists and buttons, which we will explore later on. Located directly underneath the ribbon on the left is the name box. The name box displays the name of the currently selected cell or range of cells. You can expand the name box to display a list of all named ranges within the workbook by clicking on the small black arrow in the name box. Next to the name box lies the formula bar. We will be entering formulas in the formula bar later on to manipulate data in the cells. The cell itself is the most important component in Excel. This is where we store individual pieces of data. Each cell is named for its location in the grid. It is named first for the column in which it sits and second for the row. The selected box shown is cell A1, which you can see in the name box. The cell I've highlighted is cell B2, so you see how the naming works. Workbooks are comprised of worksheets. To move between worksheets, use the Worksheet tabs at the lower left-hand corner of the screen. These are the main components of Excel. We'll explore these later as we go on. Now we're going to take a look at saving and editing files. When you're working with Microsoft Excel, it's a good idea to save your work frequently. To save a workbook that you're working with, the first thing you're going to do is click on the File tab on the ribbon. You can see it highlighted in green. When that File tab opens, you're going to click the Save button that's on the left to open the Save As dialog box, which you see popped up in the image here. You are then going to enter a file name in the File Name text box and click the Save button at the bottom right of the Save As dialog box. This will save your file so that you can open it later for editing, or you can continue to work in it as you go on. When you're done working with the file, you want to save all your changes following these steps, and then click the little white X in the upper right-hand corner of Excel to close the workbook itself. Once you have saved your file and left it, you may want to come back to it at some point to edit it or to continue to work on it. To do that, you need to open up Microsoft Excel and click the File tab on the ribbon. When the File tab opens, you will click the Open button to pop up the Open dialog box. Then you will select your saved file, just click it to select it, and click the Open button at the bottom of the dialog box. This will open your file so that it is ready for editing. Just remember, anytime you save a file, to save it using the steps we already went over so that you don't lose your changes. When you're working with Microsoft Excel, there are several keyboard shortcuts available to you that will make your life a lot easier if you learn them and become familiar with them. I've listed some of them here, so we'll just go through them briefly. There are many more available, and I will post a link to those, but these are the most common ones that I use and that I think are the most helpful. The CTRL refers to the control key. So the first shortcut is Control C. If you hold down those keys simultaneously, you will copy the contents of the cell that is currently selected. Control N will create a new blank workbook. Control O will pop up that open dialog box we used to open a saved file. Control S will save the file that you are currently working in if you've already saved it. It will save the active file with its current file name, location, and file format. Control V will insert the contents of the clipboard at the insertion point. So if you've used Control C to copy information from a selected cell, you can use Control V to paste that information into a new cell, so you will have two cells with the exact same information in it. Control X is used to cut the contents of a selected cell or cells, and you can also use Control V with Control X. So if you want to move information from one cell to another, you can use Control X to cut the selected cells and then put your cursor in the cell you want to move the information to and hit Control V on your keyboard. Control Z will undo the last command that you've done, or it will delete the last information that you have entered on your keyboard. So those are the most common shortcuts, and they're very useful. If you get familiar with them, they will save you a lot of time.